This is a story of the life of the printed newspaper, from its glorious triumph to its eventual downfall. Let's start with its happiest day, how it grew strong and became a mass media giant in the world today. It had immense wealth. Advertisers loved it. In 2005, it raked in an all-time high of $49.4 billion. Not only that, it also performed many important roles in society. Many people call it the watchdog of the government, keeping them in check. Furthermore, from small local communities to the entire nation, it helps to foster a sense of unity and bond. Also, it speaks for the people, giving them a voice to express themselves. It was perhaps the most powerful emblem for democracy. For many decades now, it was a lucrative money-making machine. How did it earn so much money? Well, it does so by mainly three methods: circulation, advertising, and syndication. Circulation refers to the money earned by the sales of the physical copies of newspaper, and these include the subscription of the newspaper. As you can see in the graph below, the printed newspaper grew steadily in strength since 1940 and managed to sustain that success for a very long time. However, after the 1990s, it started to weaken. Next, advertising. Advertising refers to the money earned from charging advertisers for putting up advertisements in newspaper. From the graph below, you can see the amount of money earned steadily increases for half a century. However, after hitting its peak in 2000, advertising income starts to decrease as well. Lastly, syndication refers to the money earned by selling news stories to other news companies for them to publish. So, are you wondering why circulations start to dwindle after the 1990s? And why fewer advertisers are interested in the printed media? Well, the problem lies with our beloved friend, the almighty Internet. Ever since its inception, news stories have been successfully digitalized and uploaded onto the web. Getting the news from the Internet is a very popular option because most of the news on the net are free. Secondly, you can get the news easily. With today's technology, you can literally get your news fix anytime, anywhere. Thirdly, news on the internet are more updated than those in the papers. Any latest development in a news story can be captured online in just a matter of minutes. This is of course impossible in traditional print media. As a result of this, the readership of the newspaper, especially with regards to the younger generation, is greatly affected. According to the study conducted by Pew Research Center, 74% of US newspaper readership is concentrated in people over the age of 45, while the age group represents only 39% of the population. What do all the numbers mean? The industry is failing to replace older readers with younger individuals. Media researcher Alan Martin writes, "At some point, the newspaper audience may contract so severely that A. Publishers can no longer attract enough advertisers, B. Publishers no longer enjoy the economies of scale necessary to print at a profit, or C. Both of the above." Why will the reduction of young readers cause a withdrawal of advertisers? According to him, few advertisers want to reach people over the age of 50, and almost none wants to reach above the age of 65. People in those age groups often live on fixed income. They normally have no children at home and have very modest spending limits. They buy very little, and yet this is the core audience newspaper publishers have to sell to their advertisers. And have advertisers moved away? Yes, they have. As you can see from the chart, as compared to 2006, where advertising dollars spent in the print media takes up 20%, in 2011 it has shrunk to only 9%. The shrinking of the advertising dollar is bad news, but just how bad is it? As you can see from the chart, the newspaper industry is one of the worst hit industry in terms of its loss of audience and revenue growth. Furthermore, in 2009, many newspaper companies are forced to shut down operation because they have simply lost too much money to support the sinking ship. Many daily newspapers who did not shut down compromised by only printing the newspaper on certain days of the week. Many established newspapers companies who has been around for more than a century, such as the Rocky Mountain News and Seattle Post-Intelligencer, are prime examples of these tragedies. In 2009, it is not surprising at all to hear depressing statements like those shown on the screen right now. So, what are all the effects of the fall of the newspaper? After the Rocky Mountain News and Seattle Post-Intelligencer shut down, Professor Lee Shakers from Portland University investigated the change in citizen behavior and attitude. Most noticeably is a decrease in civic participation of the local community. However, he admits his research does not enlighten on this question. Did civic engagement decline because people stopped reading a paper, or because you took the paper out of the community? However, that being said, he does go on to say that newspaper plays a dual role in keeping readers informed and acting as a watchdog. Having a paper around, Shakers add, is a public good we all benefit even if we don't read it, because it means journalists are pounding the pavement, holding officials accountable, and activating the community. Also, with the demise of the newspaper companies and the weakening of the industry itself, one cannot help but wonder if the quality of journalism will still be as professional. Will the reports still be as in-depth? Will the reporters still be as objective? Will the work still be as accurate, insightful? Will it still be as reliable? Leonard Downey, the executive editor of the Washington Post, said he is not so much concerned with the fate of the printed newspaper, but rather the fate of the newspaper newsroom, the place where the news are made. Lastly, with the weakening of the press, does this also mean the weakening of the fourth state function? After all, if there is no more accurate and professional press around, who is going to watch the government? Who is going to hold them accountable? After all we have discussed, is there a way for newspaper industry to escape this fate? Some companies have tried the following strategies. Do you have any better idea how to save the press?